Hi, I'm Elaine. Welcome to Top Tip Tuesday on my Stamp with Elaine Facebook page. Today my top tip is on how to mount your stamps on the Stamparatus plates in the most efficient manner. To illustrate this, I'm using the Marigold Moments photopolymer stamp set, which is a two-step stamping method. So that's a solid image which you want to stamp in a lighter colour, and then you add the detailed image and stamp it on top of that in a darker colour. This stamp on the front is not true to size. The stamps are actually bigger as you can see. So now your Stamparatus has got two plates. So in fact you have four surfaces. There's this one and then the flip side, and a second one with the flip side. You want to mount the stamps, the floral stamps, sufficiently far apart so that when you put the die on it, the dies aren't going to overlap. On one plate I have grouped the stamp so that the solid images are on one side and the detailed images is on the other. On the second plate I grouped the leaves. You have three different types of leaves. There's this one with the stems and the leaves, and the second one has got the sepal and peduncle together. The sepal is the small leaf-like parts growing at the base of the petals. They serve to protect the flower before it blossoms, and the peduncle is the stem or stalk at the top. I grouped these two together, and then on the flip side I rotated the hinge so that it was stamped from the top. And because the stamp is smaller, I can actually get three pairs of leaves at the top, because as you can see in the die set there are three leaf dies. Just to illustrate, so this is the half an A4 sheet, and I'm stamping it in Granny Apple Green. So having it grouped together like this means that you can just use the one ink pad and you don't have to worry about it contaminating the other stamps because they're all the same colour. Switch the plate round so that's on top. Hang on, I need to clean this first. Then on the flip side I ink up the tiny leaves, and then I'll stamp. Then I'm going to move it across one hinge and move my paper a little bit because I want to stamp three. Ink it up again. Ink it up again, move it another hinge, and I'm going to move my paper across a little bit and stamp. Bring in my trimmer and I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to swap ink pads and I'm going to stamp this in Orchid Oasis, because it looks like a cornflower blue, doesn't it? And I'm going to make some cornflower flowers. Take a bit of scrap paper and stamp off, and because it's on a plate, when you stamp off you just use a scrap of paper and rub it over the top and stamp. I'm not going to worry about that because when I stamp it in the darker colour it will cover up that spot. And flowers are variegated in colour anyway, so if there's a light patch somewhere it doesn't really matter. So clean the excess. And then you simply flip the paper over this way and you can do it again. Then ink up the solid images, blot it off, ensure it's right up in the corner, and then stamp. So there you have it. Then you can die cut that with the dies, and if you trim it like this, it will actually go through the little mini machine, just as this one will. Now when you're putting the dies on, you want to have it flush with the outline of the flower. And for this one, the easiest way to line it up is, you see that dip there, and then this dip here. So if you marry that up, then it will be in the perfect place for die cutting. With the mini machine, you have to stagger the plates. With the base plate, if you just leave 1/4 of an inch away from the lip of the base plate, which is platform 1, then it will go through with no problem. It's just that the rollers in the middle are really very tight to ensure that it will cut properly. So the top plate will be in a line with the base plate, but the middle plate is just 1/4 of an inch set back. Okay, so then it should go through with no problem. So that's my top tip for today. Group your flowers together, the solid image on one side, the detailed image on the other, and the leaves on your second plate, and then one oriented on the side hinge and the other on the top hinge, so you can get 3 sets of leaves from this stamp. I hope you found that tip useful, and I'll be back with more inspiration next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.